Well, let's move on, but we're still staying with government and what it's doing. It is to begin a clampdown on persons who continue to dump human excreta into the sea, despite the construction of the Accra Motor Fecal Treatment Plant at the infamous Lavender Hill. Deputy Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Patricia Appiagyei, today visited the area with a delegation from Parliament's Local Government Committee and expressed worry about the practice.
We have some information that we still find some companies dislodging at the beach side, and we feel the purpose for coming out with this particular company or establishing it is to do away with the practice of dislodging along the beach. And therefore, it is our utmost desire to get in touch with AME to find out why this practice is still ongoing. And then what we might have to do is to come up with a legal framework that will stop everybody from dislodging along the beach side.
Greater Accra generates about 26,000 cubic meters of sewage and septic waste every day. This waste is being treated each day. The plant undertakes various recycling processes, which include screening, primary settling, raw septic treatment and sludge dewatering to ensure that the end product is safe and of high quality to be used in efficient energy generation. She reiterated that the gas that will be generated from the process would go a long way to help correct the power crisis the country is currently facing.
A fuller version of that in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the World Health Organization says by 2020, depression will be the second leading cause of world disability. This mood disorder leads to suicide when not checked, causing 1 million deaths yearly around the world. Ghana must strive not to be part of these statistics by putting in place preventive measures. That's the recommendation of former board chair of the Mental Health Authority, Professor Joseph Bediako Asare. He was speaking at the celebration of World Health Day celebration in Accra on Friday on the theme Depression, Let's Talk. Professor Asare said most people go through depression. They find it very difficult to talk, and that's why more trained professionals are needed.
Whatever form depression takes, I must tell you that it's a painful kind of disease. And what happens is that initially, the person wants to talk about it, but he cannot talk. And he needs to be prompted or supported to talk. And if this thing is not done, if the talking doesn't come early enough, you get to a point when the person cannot talk at all or refuses to talk. And then we have a problem on our hands. Unfortunately, it's not diagnosed early enough because we don't have people who have been trained to diagnose depression. For a long, long time, it was thought that those of us in the third world, particularly in Africa, we didn't have the mindset to know whether we are depressed. And in fact, they thought that depression does not exist in the third world. And our anthropologists went up to say that the frontal lobes of the African were so developed that the African was interested in food and sex, and music. So we don't have time to be depressed at all. We are always dancing, we are eating and having sex. So we never thought about unhappiness. It was quite in the 70s that some of our colleagues who came to work in Africa, psychiatrists, were able to know that depression occurs as much in Africa as in the developed countries. The only problem is that most of us in Africa, we did not have the word for depression. And we express depression in physical terms. I cannot sleep. You wouldn't say I'm not happy. I'm having headaches. I'm having pains all over my body. So, of course, the doctor will prescribe paracetamol and painkillers, vitamins, and you go. Until the person has time to talk to you, to the patient, and find out what is happening. It is then that you can pick up some of the symptoms of depression which are described in our textbooks.
He thinks that all we do is eat and have sex, basically. But Joy News has been finding out from some student nurses at the Pantang Psychiatric Hospital how they deal with the challenges that they encounter in their field on a daily basis.
In most cases, they don't come and then say, I'm depressed. But like the symptoms they come with, sometimes feeling of guilt, shame, the worthlessness.
So how exactly would they tell you their situation? What would they tell you?
Okay, probably the person might come with an issue at home or something that might precipitate the cause of the depression. So through the analysis of the situation, the issues at hand, you find out some complaints through the situation or what the person has resulted in. So through the complaints, you get to know that the person is depressed.
Now, Mercy, you wanted to ask something.
Yeah, just as he rightly said, most of the time the relatives will come with the complaints that maybe he's not sleeping well, he's very withdrawn, locking himself in the room and all that. So we will also do a physical assessment and then a mental health assessment, after which then the person will be diagnosed and then treatments will start.
Since you are training nurses, I want to find out whether you are being trained specifically in this field, because we heard Professor Asari say that we don't have a lot of skilled hands in this particular field. Is that what you are being trained to do?
Yes, with mental health, we normally do the general plus the mental, but our major or the specialty area is the mental health.
It's a startling revelation that by 2020, mental health or depression in particular will be one of the leading causes of disability. You are on the field. Would you say the statistics is true?
Yes, it could be very true, because most of the time the youth coming up, there are so many issues, especially financial issues, so it will lead them to do a whole lot of things. And then like these sex videos that have been coming out, because they need money for maybe school fees or something, and they'll go in for that, and then later on the person will blackmail them, and it will lead to depression. Then finally the person will want to commit suicide, so the person will end it all, then wouldn't feel that shame or guilt or the even embarrassment that is coming with the situation. So it could be very true.
So what are some of the common cases that come to you?
Maybe relationship issues, maybe failures in exam and all that. Yeah.
You are young and under training, and so when these relationship issues come to you, do you have the practical know-how to also handle it, or you just use the book knowledge you have acquired?
Mostly, we have clinical psychologists. After they treat the underlying cause, maybe the person is not eating, sleeping, withdrawn. After the mental health treats those, and then we refer the person to the clinical psychologist. So the clinical psychologist will deal with the person on the relationship issues.
So what do you have to add to
it? In as much that we don't have the experience in practicing, we at least we have the knowledge. And we know in no time we will also have the experience to do that. And talking about experience, we go in for clinical attachments, and through that, at least we also have some experience or something we can say we can handle depression on our own. Yeah, so if I'm being faced with a case of depression, from the experience I maybe got from the clinical attachment, I can maybe handle depression, even though I'm a student.
Sure. So finally,
sometimes as individuals, forgetting that we are nurses or whatever, we can also help the person, like the pastor said, maybe in terms of the Bible, so the person will know that even taking your own life is a sin. So when we help the person to, most of the time they commit the suicide because they feel hopeless. It's like all hope is lost. They don't have anyone. And so we can assure them that, oh, God is there. So this is what God is saying. So even though you have this problem, after you sought for the solution, then you have to be involved in church activities. Those things keep you busy. You don't have time to think about your problems. But if you're alone, always being alone, you can be thinking about it, and it will lead to suicide or something.
So
very true, isn't it? But being alone anyway. So do you know that the situation you're going through can be depressive? Or have you been through such a condition? And Odame has also been speaking to some people for answers to those questions.
Well, there's been times that I nearly got to that point where I could be diagnosed as suffering from depression. But with the mechanism, coping mechanisms that I have and the people who are around me, all right, I just come out of it strong, yes.
Can you let us in on what the cause was, reason why you felt you were depressed?
I think I was expecting too much from somebody that I didn't have to, so I felt let down when whatever I had to get or receive from that person wasn't forthcoming. I think it was quite excruciating, the pain, yes, but I just thought, hey, there are better things or better options to look up to, so let me just come out of it.
For you, it was your mental well, but then did you have the support you need around you?
Yeah, like I said, I have a strong, social network around family, first of all, friends who I can talk to, rely on, and believe to give me very good advice. So the support was there.
Have you felt depressed?
They were talking about it on Adom TV, I think last week, about depression. And I realized that I'm also having the same thing. Yeah.
So you feel that you are depressed?
Yeah.
Is it something you have already dealt with or you are currently depressed?
Currently, okay. Yeah.
The things that are making you depressed, have you spoken to somebody about it?
No, not at all.
Did you even know you were depressed until you heard it on Adom?
Until I heard it on the TV.
So do you accept it that you're depressed?
Not sure.
Are you willing to talk to somebody about it?
Not yet.
Is there any reason why?
I don't know. No, I'm not sure.
But how are you going to deal with it?
I need to go check up. I need to go to the hospital to find out what's wrong with me.
So what exactly will you tell the doctor?
Like, I have a sleepless night. I'm having a sleepless night. I can't sleep sometimes. I've been thinking also.
So much thinking because something has happened.
What's wrong with me actually?
But you just don't feel okay.
Yeah.
And you expect when are you going to the hospital?
Maybe next week.
Yeah. So between now and next week when you go, how are you going to put yourself together?
I'll just go to the hospital and tell them what's wrong with me. Yeah.
Do you think that a lot of people are going through the same situation and refusing to talk?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You in particular, why don't you want to talk to anybody but go to the hospital?
I think that's what is the best place for me to go.
Is it that you don't trust anybody?
Yeah.
Have you gone through any form of depression, or are you going through any form of depression?
I have. Once in my life. There are sometimes you feel dejected. You feel that you don't have anybody to talk to. And you just have to keep those things inside of you. What I love to do is I love singing. So in those times, I just get behind my mic. I have lots of stuff in my house that help me. I have tambourines, I have all those things. So I just praise and then I am okay. That's what I do.
That's your therapy. But we've been told today to talk. Will you be willing to talk when you go through any of those depressive moments?
I agree with the suggestion to talk, but sometimes you just find it difficult. You can't explain. You just don't know whom to talk to and how to even go about it. So I really encourage us to talk, but I think it will be quite difficult. But I'm sure we will get there if we gradually get to meet people that we think are quite trustworthy. We may get to it. I think I may get to that stage where I'll be able to talk better.
Can you let us in on what made you depressed?
I think family. I am actually from a broken home, so sometimes you don't have that. You don't have the mother around to speak to. You have a father, but you can't really speak to him because he's busy doing this. He's not even around for you to speak with. So those are those times, especially when I go to public places and I see people with their parents, and it looks like they are very happy, and you wish you could also have that same feeling, but you don't have it. So in those times, you come back home and you are like, why is your case different? So in those times, sometimes you feel depressed. But after After reflections, you just realize that your case may be better than someone else. So then you just move on.
So this form of depression will keep occurring because then you keep seeing parents. And so apart from the singing, how do you put yourself together to come out of it?
Aside singing, I keep myself busy. I work. And so work is one thing that keeps me very busy, and I'm motivated by it. So I wake up, I don't just want to sit and think. So I wake up, if I'm not singing, I'm working, I'm moving around, doing something to keep myself busy so that I don't just worry.
Did it occur to you at any point in time to go seek help from the hospital?
Not at all.
I believe that you can pretty much relate with all the things that they're saying there. Keep yourself busy, engage in church activities or mosque activities. Get yourself involved in something that takes your mind off the things that you think and worry about.